Hi. What was that? That was weird. I don't know what that was. Okay. Hi. It's that time of the month. That is not what I meant to say. Never mind. Restart. It's tattoo time. I've committed to doing a tattoo vlog once a month. It's already the next month after last month, which is crazy. Wait, what? Oh, and if you would be so cool to subscribe, that would be amazing. Yay, subscribe, go. I was sort of thinking about, all the different things that I can show you, talk about, whatever that's tattoo related. One of the things that I really just kept coming back to was that I feel like, and I could be wrong, a lot of tattoos are motivated by love. A love of something. Your hobby, your children, your parents, your dog, your cat. Do we get tattoos for hate? Okay, if you have, please tell me because I would love to know about that. I think, and maybe this is just because I love love, 96% of tattoos are done in some way for love. And the ones I'm going to talk about today are the ones that I got for my parents. Quick backstory. My dad was strong, outspoken, human person who was a big personality in a small town. He owned a general store that was attached to our house, and so I grew up basically in a store-ish. Yeah, it was a pretty special place to live. He had lots of people that just loved him and loved being around him, and he was a great storyteller, and he had a larger than life personality, and he had an unbelievable laugh, and people would come to the store strictly to see him. I only got to know my dad really for 18 years of my life when I was just finishing high school, and just as my mom had convinced my dad to finally retire and sell the store, made him realize that there would be life after the store. He never got to retire because just prior to us moving out, he was diagnosed with 2 brain tumors. I didn't really know him for a very long time. I was the youngest of 5. All of my siblings would tell you that I got away with a lot more than they did. He called me Presh, short for precious. I had waited quite a long time actually until I really knew what I wanted to get in honor of him. One of the things that my dad and I very much had in common was our love of candy. It's funny, I know that I wasn't allowed to just go in the store and take or eat whatever I wanted, but I also don't really remember not being able to do that. Every Friday or every other Friday, the truck that carried the candy, that's not even really a thing, but as a kid I thought it was the candy truck. I'm sure he brought other things, would show up. My dad would always call me into the store and tell me to taste test one of the candies, and I needed to tell him whether or not it would actually sell. And of course, I always noticed that there was a few missing. We both had an incredible sweet tooth, so that was something that my dad and I definitely were tight on.
Here's the candy tattoo. So obviously there's a lollipop, some licorice here, and conversation hearts, which I love. Conversation heart. And some wrapped candies and some gumballs, and he called me Presh.
My mom hated my tattoos. When I got my first one, she just probably prayed that it was a one-off. Please don't let her get any more tattoos. And then I just kept going. And then when I met my ex-husband and he had so many, I felt like it gave me a license to have more. Yeah, she didn't love that. If anyone would ever ask me about my tattoos, even though she claimed that she didn't like them, she would always say, tell them the story of that tattoo. Oh, and you should see the other one she has. And I was like, interesting. You hate them, but you also kind of don't totally hate them. It was probably right after I got the tattoo for Dad. I remember sitting at my mom's kitchen table, just out of nowhere, she just looked up from whatever her crossword puzzle or whatever she was doing, and she said, so are you gonna get a tattoo for me? I was like, what? Of course I'm gonna get a tattoo for you. I don't know what, and I don't know when, and I don't know where. And she said, well, you don't have to wait until I'm gone before you get it. And I was like, right, I guess it doesn't have to be an in memoriam tattoo. But anyway, we still have tons of time for that. It turns out we didn't. She got really sick and passed away the next year. So my brother and I knew that one of the first things that we wanted to do was get a tattoo for her. We both decided that we wanted to get a windmill. She was a very proud Dutch woman.
Mummers, because that's what I called her. That was my sort of nickname for her. And the windmill, of course, and this here on the wings of the windmill, we were trying to emulate Delft blue, and then of course tulips, because you can't have a windmill without tulips.
My mom was pretty conservative. You go by the rules and you be a good person, but you don't really veer too far from the way things are supposed to be. I don't really think that their baby daughter being so tattooed would have been something that they would have loved, and it certainly wasn't something that my mom loved. But when my mom was in the hospital in the last days of her life, she was telling us that she loved us no matter what. I jokingly said, well, except for the tattooed parts. She just smiled and said, I love all of them. Everyone does something different to honor the people they love in their lives, and I miss them terribly, but now I have them on me forever, so